Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are taking a closer look at P1Harmony's Ice, or VVS. This was a visualizer video, so I haven't been doing a ton of these breakdowns or reactions to visualizers anymore. But this one, I enjoyed the song enough, I wanted to kind of go into it a little bit more. It's actually, they're on the surface level, it didn't seem like there might be that much to dig into, but we'll see. When I say surface level, obviously I did the reaction to this a week or two ago, and so I'm finally getting a chance to look at the lyrics and go in a bit deeper. So let's see if this has any sort of depth, or if this is the swag type of song that it sounded like. I suspect it is, but I did remember a couple of cool lines in there, so we'll point those out. But anyway, let's get started. Now, we don't have subtitles, by the way, because they're auto-gen, so not going to bother. So everything will be literally translated over here on the lyric page, so forgive me if there's anything that's a little off. You got the ring there. I love this opening instrumental.
Put it on. Certain act, then I put it on. Make them
The beat goes too hard.
I'm way too cold like the window. Pull up, make it freeze, make it shiver. Put it on. Pour it up, then we put it on. That's my name, send me dripping now. I'm way too cold like the window. Pull up, make it freeze, make it shiver.
Chorus is addictive. My wifey. You're my purse, private wallet, nice to meet you, hi. You're so icy, girl.
Check the feet, I find yeah. Only time I look down is to check the shoes I walked in, yeah. Move so iconic.
Nice
so
negative image use there.
I just wanna be like, okay, where the put it on. To my neck, then I put it on. Make them trip like
more split diopter.
I'm way too cold like the winter. Pull up, make it freeze, make it shiver. Put it on. Pump it up, then we put it on.
This shadow right here is me. Like, watch him in the light, and then watch the shadow back here.
Put it on. Pump it up, then we put it on. That's my name, see me dripping up. I'm way too cold like the winter. Pull up, make it freeze, make it shiver.
Okay, lyrically, we're going to talk about this. There are some cool things I've seen in the video, like that, the difference with the shadow and the use of the split diopter, and the, of course, that's more from a cinematic or a shooting standpoint, but also the use of, like, the negative images. It's a visualizer, so there's not a ton of, like, super in-depth meaning to a lot of this, especially because I'm pretty sure this is just like a talk your shit kind of song, and there's rarely a lot of meaning to that. But let's talk about the lyrics here. So we open with the chorus. Put it on ice, took my neck, then I put it on ice, make them trip like they walking on ice. So we're using ice creatively here. We're not just limiting it to one meaning. We're using every meaning we can think of, because let's finish the chorus. I'm way too cold like the winter. Pull up, make you freeze, make you shiver. Put it on ice. Pour it up, then we put it on ice. That's my name. See me dripping all ice. I'm way too cold like the winter. Pull up, make you freeze, make you shiver. Okay. So putting it on ice is a slang phrase for like it's done. You killed it, right? Like you finished the job. If you put it on ice, you've either, I should say, you could either say you've killed it or you've stalled it, like, permanently. But based on, like, the feeling of the song and the attitude, I'm pretty sure this is meaning, like, they're killing it. Didn't they actually have a song called Killing It? Anyway, and that phrase comes from, like, when you have a dead body, you put it on ice or you turn the temperature way down when the body first dies, so that you can preserve the organs for, donation and stuff like that. Not that really anybody cares about where that phrase came from, but there you go. So we put it on ice, so we killed it. Took my neck, then I put it on ice. So taking my neck, first off, we talk about like the throat slash gesture a lot of times, and we even had it in the choreo here. So taking my neck, like killing me there. So it references that first line, but it also sets it up for the next line. Then I put it on ice, talking about like putting on ice or diamonds, jewelry, which goes to the VVS part of the title. VVS, of course, is a high grade of diamond. I think it's the highest grade of diamond that can be given based on cut, clarity, shine. I forget what exactly the qualifications are. I think it's called the 4 Cs. But the point is, it's a grade of diamond, which is why it's in the title. Make them trip like they walking on ice. So if you're making them trip, you're confusing them. You're literally physically tripping them up based on like maybe they're like doing double takes, or maybe they're trying to emulate you and they're not able to walk at that same path you did, so they're stumbling, they're tripping. Also, make them trip could be even more slang depending on if you've ever heard the phrase like, man, you're tripping, like you're crazy kind of thing, like it make them go crazy. It could be that way as well, but it's yet another usage of the word ice. So we've talked about putting them on ice like killing it. We've talked about putting on jewelry. Now we've talked about slipping on literal ice. I'm way too cold like the winter, so we're using a lot of wordplay here, but being too cold is literally the same thing as being too hot when it comes to slang. It's just a matter of which way you're spinning it, but basically, you're too good. I'm way too cold. I'm too cool. I'm too dope. I'm too swag. Like whatever slang word you want to use, it's that pretty much. Pull up, make you freeze, make you shiver. So just being in my presence, you're gonna feel that amazing, awesome aura. Then put it on ice. We got that line again. Pour it up, then we put it on ice. So now we're not just talking about physical ice like on the ground, like where we're slipping or tripping, but now we're like ice in a glass. Like pour it up, like with the liquor. That's my name. See me dripping all ice. Obviously, again, we're talking about the jewelry there. Okay, so chorus was super addictive, and again, like I said, I just appreciate how we're pretty much taking every form of ice we can figure out and throwing it all into the song. It's just like, you know what? Does ice have another meaning? Throw it in there. We'll figure it out later. Verse 1, who's gonna be my wifey? Raise your hand quickly. Hey Taki, you're so cocky. I'm cute, right? And he had a little like pointing to, I guess it was like a dimple or something, but it was a cute gesture. This is literally just like, I'm desirable, I'm hot, or in this case, cold. Like, I don't have to wait for anyone, so take your chance while you have it. Like, you better raise your hand, no hesitation kind of thing here. Yeah, my party's private only. Nice to meet you. Hi. Obviously, hi is like hello, but it made the way he said it made me think of like hi as in like Japanese for yes. It would still apply here, but considering he waved in the choreo, I know he meant just hello. She said, you're so icy, 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 icy. Girl, please don't touch me. So when it first said icy, icy a couple more times, I thought it was talking about, how we've talked about in the chorus with all the different meanings of ice, and, maybe like the fit is giving dripping ice and everything. But then this is another meaning of ice or icy, meaning like cold, as in like cold natured or cold hearted, standoffish. And that ends up being part of the wordplay here, because the next line is, girl, please don't touch me. Like I don't, I'm like closed off here. I'm not open to this. Then we had the fit 1 milli. So talking about like, feeling like $1,000,000, basically. I'm wearing $1,000,000. And if you're wearing VVS diamonds in a chain like that, you probably are. Check the feed. I flaunt it. So just talking his shit. here with his follower count and all that. Only time I look down is to check the shoes I walked in. That's pretty funny. So it's one of those bars that actually has meaning. Like the thought of looking down, if you imagine someone looking down constantly, you usually think they don't have confidence, right? It's this subtle expression of maybe not necessarily defeat, but it's just this, like, I'm not confident, I don't have courage, I don't face the world, I look down. It doesn't always mean that. I frequently look down when I walk, but it doesn't have anything to do with that. I just trip over my own feet sometimes. But in this case, that's the image that they're going for, because if you're looking down, again, the idea is that you don't have confidence. So he's saying he doesn't ever look down. In other words, he keeps his head up, keeps his head high. He's got courage. He's brave. He doesn't have anything to be, down about, whatever. The only time he's looking down is to check his shoes, make sure that the shoes are tied, no scuffs, all that kind of stuff, making sure he's still clean. Move so iconic, so cold they call me Slavic. That was another bar there. Slavic, if you're not familiar, is an ethnicity. There's like 20 countries that make up the Slavic countries, but it's based on the people who spoke Slavic-based languages. Russia, Belarus, Ukraine, Bosnia Herzegovina, Czechoslovakia, although that's not actually a country anymore, that's the Czech Republic. But the point is, there's a whole bunch of countries, right? And a lot of them get really, really cold weather because of their geography. It's usually like Northern and Eastern Europe and part of Central Europe. So that was a fun line, in my opinion. And then I just want to be like, okay, where the party at? In other words, he doesn't want to care about anything. He doesn't want to have to be burdened with, whatever, either expectations or standards or, responsibilities. He just wants to be carefree and, pursue, things that make him happy, whether it be, the ice or the party, whatever. Then we get the chorus again. All right, so let's check out verse 2. Nice camera work there. Really like the bridge here. Okay, so even in the bridge, there's some more clever wordplay there, but let's talk about verse 2. Better wear a jacket, it's freezing. Okay, we already got the wordplay there. Being around him, he's cold. We talked about that earlier. My house is winter. So, like, everything about me, from myself to my fit to even my house, is just cold with it. Living in the moment, running hard, don't measure it on a scale, which is also interesting because the VVS rating is part of a scale. But he's essentially, living in the moment is what this is all about. That confidence, that swagger, that wanting the shiny things without maybe necessarily caring about what it takes to get them, or the cost or whatever. Just want to go for it, have the parties, all this stuff. I keep picking it up, but it keeps spilling in my pocket. That's my ice. So now we've got another, it's not another meaning, but it's another state of ice. You're picking it up and it's melting, so it's spilling everywhere. Obviously ice melts. If you don't know that somehow by this point, you probably aren't old enough to be watching this video. But as it spills out in his pocket, it's also talking about the money overflowing, but also in a way, you could take that as like, remember we talked about not wanting to care about maybe how much something cost or the responsibility or whatever. If it keeps spilling in the pocket, something spilling on you or in your clothes is usually not a great thing. So, he could also be talking about how as they gather these nice shiny things that the cost is piling up. I don't think they actually care about that in this case, so I don't think that's part of the meaning, but you could put that meaning in there. Uh, it'll be all right. Rub both hands together. So first off, rubbing both hands together creates friction, creates heat, right? So it warms you up. So that's another play on the whole ice, in his pocket and everything. Like it's so cold, think about snow or whatever. But also, uh, there was a phrase here in the West anyway. I don't know if it existed, in Korea, but it was talking about like rubbing two nickels together, uh, which essentially meant like you were really poor if you didn't have two nickels to rub together. But the idea was that like rubbing two nickels together would essentially like help create more money. Uh, Obviously, it wasn't real, but it was just like a metaphor. Um, so I like that we could have both of those meanings, but obviously, we're definitely talking about rubbing the hands together. And also, when you rub your hands together in a certain way, it also can signify like anticipation, not necessarily greed, but you could take it that way too. But if somebody's rubbing their hands like, then they're anticipating. We walk on the sea, the water freezes, which is also impressive because you have to be even colder to make the sea freeze because it's salt water, but whatever. Absolutely impossible. Well, there you go. Like they acknowledge like it's impossible how ridiculously cold I am, but that's just who I am, right? There's no one to compete with anywhere. So he's like, I'm too cold. Like I went so far, I surpassed everyone. Like there's no one left. I either took them all out, aka put them on ice, or they just don't measure up. Baby, shake it, booty, booty. 3, 1, 2. Oh, okay. We're just taking some lyrical license there. Say kimchi and cheese. So in America or the West, if we're taking a picture, we say cheese. In Korea, they say kimchi. But your mouth ends up making the smile at the end of the word regardless, which is why you say it. Come on, baddie. So that come on, baddie is talking about the like these group of girls, like who's gonna be my wifey, referencing that first verse. But the bridge here, oh no no no, walking on water, all the jaws are gonna drop drop. So two meanings here: jaw dropping, like being stunned or aghast, whatever. But walking on water, we talked about earlier. Now with drop drop, you have drops of water as well. So there's wordplay with the jaw dropping and the drops of water. Oh no no no, dripped out in diamonds because I'm way too hot. So we talked about drip being slang for your fit. Diamonds are the ice. If you're dripped out in diamonds, you're obviously wearing a lot of diamonds in your outfit. But you're also, what happens when you melt ice? It drips. It becomes droplets of water. And so if he's too hot, he's melting the ice and it's dripping. So clever wordplay there with the duality of hot and cold meaning the same thing in this particular case. And then we're gonna get the chorus one last time.
Took my neck, then I put it on. Make a trip like they want
Nice little shatter effects there.
I'm way too cold like the winter. Pull up, make you freeze, make you shiver. Put it on.
He's got the ice in his teeth. Shout out the 80s.
That's my name, see me trapping on. I'm way too cold like the winter. Pull up, make you freeze, make you shiver.
Very nice. All right, my friends. So that was Ice VVS from P1Harmony. It was, in fact, obviously a talk your shit kind of song, but it had a lot of clever wordplay in there that I wasn't expecting after having just first listened. So really cool there. I enjoyed that. I think for me, I haven't heard their whole album yet, but this song is, for me, it's better than Unique or LOYL. But I'm curious about what you guys thought. Is this song, your favorite on the album? Is it your least favorite? What did you think of this one? Let me know. But thanks for being here, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell to enable your notifications. And also, if you want to get a request on here or on the main reaction channel, you can do that one of two ways. You can subscribe to Patreon at the gray tier or higher. Shout out to our friends who've done that. Thank you guys so much for your support. Gray tier and above get access to all the content over there, whether it be free or paid, in addition to your monthly requests. But if you're not interested in any of the content there or the benefits, then you can also check the description below. There's a link to PayPal and instructions on how to use it. So feel free to take a look, and I will see you for the next one. Take care, everybody.